was the Winter Classic?
It was actually really good. Kind of cold, but you know, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, the hot chocolate was really good. Hello? Oh my gosh. Okay, we're on our way.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
What was that about?
We got a case. Let's go.
So what do we know about the case?
Only that there were 2 deaths reported. Apparently it's someone pretty famous, so there wasn't a lot disclosed over the phone.
Do we know who it was yet?
Someone by the name of Tiffany White.
No way, she was so young. Do we know who the other victim is?
Not sure, but when we arrive on scene, I'll talk to the officer in charge and see what they know.
And we have to be really efficient about it because we don't want the paparazzi getting any ideas and starting rumors on the news, right?
Yeah. 612 bridal path?
Yeah. Okay, we're almost there.
Now there was a time when you loved me so I couldn't go wrong. Now you need to know. See, I've been a bad man, and I'm in deep. Yeah, I found a brand new love for this man, and can't wait till you see. I can't wait. So how you like me now? 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 Remember the time when I heat you up? Yeah, I was alive that you can't give up. If I was to cheat, oh, now would you see right through me? If I sing a sad, 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 sad song, would you give it to me? Would you?
You got them at the station? Okay, great, thank you.
Hello, officer. We're with the forensics unit. Can we come in to talk to you about the case?
Absolutely.
Okay, you guys go ahead, take a look around.
Oh, found the body.
That wasn't that hard. Alright, let's get started.
Okay, so what do we know so far?
We've got a double homicide reported by the housekeeper. She found one victim upstairs in her room, dead on the floor, and another one at the bottom of the stairs. The only 2 witnesses that were there at the time was the housekeeper who called and one of her friends who was the last to leave the house after she had a small party of about 30 people. Both of those witnesses are at the station right now for investigation.
Perfect. Okay, so what did I miss?
Well, victim number 1 looks like he fell from this landing and broke his neck. There's some blood spatter on the stairs here.
And also there's some blood spatter on his face, so from a gunshot. And then we have a weapon in question.
So we've taken pictures of the victim and the area surrounding the victim, as well as taking swabs from the blood found on the stairs and the back spatter found on the victim's face.
Also, we've taken measurements and I'm just about to sketch the scene.
Okay, so are we all done down here?
Yeah, we're all set to take a look at the victim upstairs.
Oh God. Lily, make sure you get photos of everything with and without a ruler before before we start?
Yeah, I'll do that and then get a rough sketch and then add measurements later.
So from what I can see, it looks like the cause of death is bleeding out, and manner of death would be a gunshot to the temple. I can't see a gun around her, so probably isn't suicide.
And what about the gun found at the bottom of the stairs?
Well, I'll give it to ballistics and see if it's a match. Yeah, I've done a once over the body, and I can't find any more particulates, so I think we can call it a day.
Okay, Lily, get one final photo after we've cleaned up, and that'll be it.
Have the evidence markers?
Lily, can you grab that?
I'm gonna take one more shot as I'm doing it. So what did the autopsy reveal?
So the cause of death was a broken neck, as you can see by the bruising and internal bleeding pooling on the left side here.
So is there any indication on the body that he was pushed down the stairs instead of just falling?
Well, when I got the toxicology report back, it said that he had high levels of alcohol in his blood system, so we can't rule out that he fell on his own or that he was pushed.
And what about the cut and bruising on his face?
Well, the cut and bruising was due to a shattered cheekbone that he most likely obtained while falling down the stairs head first.
So then that would explain the blood that was found on the stairs by the on-scene investigators.
Exactly.
Are there any other injuries on him?
There's minor bruising along his torso, but the most prominent injuries are to his face and neck. So are we all done here with Mr. Gold?
Yes, thank you.
Also, I'm doing another autopsy on Mrs. White this afternoon, so we can see if that reveals any more information.
Great.
So how long did you know Tiffany?
We're childhood friends. I've known her since about grade 10.
And were you guys close?
Yeah, I guess so. We saw each other once a week or so.
Did you see her or talk to her at the party?
Well, she was pretty busy, so I only saw her at the end of the party when I congratulated her about a movie deal.
And what did she say to that?
Well, she almost seemed like she didn't know what she was talking about, but her manager told me that she had signed for a big movie deal, so yeah.
Did you notice any unusual behavior from her?
Well, like I said, I didn't see her much that night, but it was pretty unusual for her not to know what was going on as far as the movie deal. She's very, in control of her career. She always knows what she's doing.
Interesting. And what did you know about her feelings about the movie deal? Like, were you surprised that she decided to take it?
Yeah, actually, the last time I talked to her before the party, she was pretty sure that she was not taking another movie deal for a while. But I guess when I heard Richard say that she had signed for it, I guess she changed her mind.
What do you know about her relationship with Richard?
He was her manager. They were pretty friendly, but I know he was married, so it was strictly professional.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.
So were you at Tiffany's party?
Oh, no, she gave me the night off.
Is that common for her? Does she usually do that?
Yeah, when she has personal gatherings, she says she doesn't really need me around, so I just go home.
And what time did you arrive the next morning?
Around 7:30?
And can you explain to me what happened from then?
Well, I usually come around 7:30 to care of Tiffany, clean, cook. And when I walked in, I saw Richard on the stairs, and I started freaking out, and I was calling for Tiffany, and she wasn't answering, so I immediately called the police. And that's when I found Tiffany upstairs in her room. And then when the police officers came, they questioned me at the scene a little bit, but then they just brought me here.
And did you notice any like strange behavior in like within Tiffany or Richard prior to those events?
No, Richard came early before he left, and he was kind of drunk already, but classic Richard for a party.
Okay. I think that's all that we need. Thank you very much.
So how long have you been Tiffany White's publicity rep?
4 years.
And what did you think or know about her relationship with Richard?
Well, I suspected they were more than colleagues, but I never brought it up.
So when did you first approach her about the movie contract?
About a month ago.
And what was her initial...
She didn't seem interested. I never thought she would do it.
And did you ask her why not?
No, when I asked her, she acted really weird about it, so I didn't push her.
How and when did you get the contract back?
Richard gave it to me a few days ago.
Okay.
Did you talk to Tiffany after you received the contract with her signature on it?
No, she had guests over, and I was out of town.
Is there any way that her signature could have been forged?
I never really thought about it. I guess so. I didn't really examine it.
Do you happen to have another copy of her signature on you?
Yes, actually I do. My niece is a big fan of hers, so I promised her a signature.
Do you think we could see the signature?
Yeah.
All right, great. Well, thank you for your time. We'll let you know if you have further questioning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So how long did you know Tiffany?
About 2 years.
And how long have you been working for her?
Around the same. Until she fired me.
Why'd she fire you?
Tiffany hadn't quite come to terms with her feelings for me.
And when did she fire you?
2 days ago.
Is that the last time you saw her?
Yeah.
Did you and Tiffany end on good terms?
Any terms with Tiffany are good terms.
So were you at her party?
I wasn't invited.
Did Tiffany have any enemies?
Not that I can think of.
And what about Tiffany and Richard? Do you know anything about their relationship? Were they romantically involved at all?
They were, but it wasn't public.
So if it was private, then how did you know that they were involved?
I'm her bodyguard. It's my job to know.
You mean it was your job?
You don't understand. It'll always be my job to look after Tiffany. I love her. To the day that I die.
and she has no inner part of the hair called the medulla. As well, she has no scales on the outside, which is her cuticle. Then here's a hair sample from the second victim, Richard, and he has a segmented medulla, the dark inner bums, and a periodic scale on his cuticle. Thirdly, I have a hair sample from the security guard, and as you can see, the hair sample is very blonde, and again, no medulla, no dark part on the inside, and no scales on the outside of the hair called the.
And what about the unknown hairs found at the scene?
Well, the first unknown hair that was found on Tiffany's body on her crossed arms was a blonde hair, no medulla, and as well no scales on the cuticle, suggesting that it matched that of the security guard, but I would need a DNA test to confirm. As well, the second unknown hair that was found on her shoulder was a darker hair with a dark segmented medulla and scales on the cuticle, suggesting that it matched that of Richard, but again, DNA would confirm.
Perfect. Let's see if any of the blood samples coincide with the hair.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the rest of the samples to arrive and then I'll start analyzing them.
Okay, perfect. Let me know.
Oh, hey guys.
Have you analyzed the blood samples yet?
Yeah. Okay,
What did you find?
Here's what I've got. From the victim and suspect samples that were sent here, I added the anti-A, B, and Rh serum to each to figure out what kind of blood type they have.
And what did the results say?
Okay, so the test revealed that Richard Gold had type B negative, Tiffany White had A positive, and Derek Johnson had O negative.
And what about the back spatter on the victim's face?
Right, so the back spatter found on Richard's face actually was A positive, which matches Tiffany White's blood.
And can you confirm that the blood found on Richard's face was in fact Tiffany's blood?
Yes, the DNA test confirmed that.
And what about the blood on the stair?
Yeah, it was type B negative, and I did a DNA test to confirm that it was Richard's blood.
Okay, thank you for the results.
And I just ran some fingerprint testing, so I'll show you guys what I found from that.
Okay.
Okay, so before the autopsies were performed, both Tiffany and Richard's fingerprints were taken. And I examined Tiffany's, and as you can see, she had many loops, which isn't very surprising because they're pretty common. But she did have a tented arch in her index finger, which is kind of uncommon because only about 5% of the population has these arches.
So did any of the fingerprints found at the scene match Tiffany's?
Actually, yes. So when I was looking at one of the fingerprints found on the wine glass, as you can see here, it has many loops as well as it has the tented arch in the middle. I also found about 8 points of comparison between the wine glass fingerprint and Tiffany's, making it a very strong match.
And what about Mr. Johnson and Mr. Gold?
So when I looked at Mr. Johnson's fingerprints, as you can see here, he had one plain burrow with a curving ridge and 2 points coming together to form a delta, which is kind of like a triangle. It's right there and there. And then, when I looked at the fingerprints lifted from the Scotch glass, I found 15 points of comparison, making it almost an exact match.
So you're saying that the wine glass was Tiffany's and the Scotch glass was Derek's?
Yes, that's what the fingerprints suggest.
So what did the bullets reveal?
Well, this bullet is the one found at the crime scene, this one belongs to Derek Johnson, and this one belongs to Richard Gold. So, basically, what I was doing was comparing the bullets found at the crime scene to the two main suspects.
So is there any conclusive evidence from the bullets?
Well, I was immediately able to rule out Derek Johnson.
Why?
Well, his gun loads 45 caliber bullets, and the bullet found at the crime scene was a 9mm.
So does that mean that Richard Gold's gun was the one that shot Tiffany?
Well, after I obtained his registration papers, the serial number matched up with the gun found at the crime scene, but just to be sure, I did compare. Well, as you can see, the trough marks and ridge marks on the bullets are exactly the same, meaning that they came out of the same barrel. I measured the width of them, and they are the same, as well as the angle, the twist on the bullets are the same. So it's a conclusive.
Interesting. Thank you very much.
Okay, so what did Miss White's autopsy reveal?
Okay, well, the cause of death was her bleeding out, but the manner of her death was a gunshot wound to the side of the head, and we can also tell from the wound that she was shot at close range.
But there's no exit wound?
No, so in the MRI, we found the bullet in her frontal lobe, which caused the most amount of damage.
So were we able to rule out sexual assault?
Yes, there were no signs of forced entry, but I did find something interesting.
And what's that?
So in Miss White's x-rays, I noticed that the supporting tissues and ligaments around her pelvic bone were very relaxed and stretched, and these tough but flexible tissues connect the pelvic bones with supporting joints and bones.
So the pelvic bone isn't actually connected to any other bones in the body?
Right, so essentially it's a free-floating bone surrounded by tissues, ligaments, and joints.
Why is this important to Tiffany's autopsy?
Here's where it gets interesting. During pregnancy, a woman releases certain hormones that relax the ligaments and muscles around her pelvic bone.
But she doesn't look pregnant.
Right, that's because the process begins as soon as a week after conception. So as you can see here, the symphysis pubis located at the bottom of the pelvic bone is naturally a small gap, but as a woman releases the hormones she gets after conception, the iliac bones are pulled apart by the surrounding joints and ligaments, increasing the size of the symphysis pubis.
So are you saying Tiffany White was pregnant?
Yeah, it clearly shows an unnaturally large gaping deform at the bottom of her pelvic bone, and that can only be explained by her being pregnant.
How could someone kill a woman with an unborn child?
Maybe they didn't know. After all, we couldn't tell.
That's true.
And it could serve as a motive for why someone wanted to kill her.
Well, that'll definitely put a twist in our case.
So are we all done with Miss White?
Yes, thank you. Let's share the rest of this with the team and see if they find out the evidence.
So what do we know so far about the case?
Well, we know that Mr. Gold broke his neck when he fell down the stairs, and also that the blood spatter on his face matched Tiffany White's blood, suggesting that he was near her when she was shot at close range.
Ballistics confirmed that Miss White was shot with the gun that was found at the bottom of the stairs.
Also, the blood found on Tiffany White's hand matched her own.
So suggesting that maybe her hand was close to her head when she was shot, maybe in a defensive position.
So the wine glass that was found had Miss White's fingerprints on it, and the scotch glass had the fingerprints of our prime suspect, Derek Johnson, suggesting that he was at the party.
That's weird, because after I watched his interrogation tape, he said that he wasn't invited to her party.
Just because he wasn't invited, though, doesn't mean that he wasn't there. Hello? Really? Okay, thanks very much.
So what was that about?
Apparently, Derek Johnson, our prime suspect, was diagnosed with schizophrenia 6 months ago.
That would explain the strange behavior and refusal to answer questions during the interrogation.
Wouldn't he have been prescribed medication for that?
That's the thing. The pharmacy says that he hasn't picked up his meds in over 2 months.
So if he wasn't taking his medication, then it's a possibility that he was unstable and wouldn't have remembered the events of that night.
Or that he reacted violently when provoked.
Guys, I just got a text from a forensic analyst, and she informed me that the hair found on Tiffany's body belonged to Mr. Johnson.
Well, I guess we better pay him another visit then.
Mr. Johnson, the last time we spoke, you told us that you were not invited to Tiffany White's party.
Yeah, we found a fingerprint on one of her scotch glasses and one of your hairs on her body herself.
I told you last time, I loved her. It's my job to protect her until the day I die. I just had to check on her.
So you were at Tiffany's party that night?
Yes.
And how did you get in?
I was her security guard for 2 years. I know how to get in.
What did you do once you got into Tiffany's house?
I just looked around.
Where were you looking? None of the guests remember seeing you.
Oh, I just looked around Tiffany's room, made sure.
So even for an ex-security guard, you seem to worry a lot about Tiffany.
I guess you could say I'm a worrier.
Right, and in your medical records, it says that you were diagnosed with schizophrenia 6 months ago and that you've been taking medication for it ever since. When was the last time that you took that medication?
I don't know.
Do you not know, or are you just not telling us?
I don't see why it matters.
Because you're a prime suspect in this case, so right now everything matters.
Forget prime suspect. Every piece of evidence that we have points back to you and shows that you are guilty of the murder of Tiffany White and Richard Gold.
Whoa, not Tiffany. I would never do anything to her.
What about Richard?
Okay, this is what happened.
So thanks for coming.
No, thanks for the great party.
Oh, no problem. I'm glad you had a good time.
Also, congratulations on the movie deal.
Sorry?
The one that Richard said you signed for. The movie deal?
Right. Yeah. Thanks.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Richard, can I talk to you for a minute upstairs, please?
Of course.
So, as one of my guests was leaving, they congratulated me about a movie deal. Do you know anything about this?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't lie to me, Richard. You've been pressuring me into this for...
You know what? Fine. This is ridiculous. It shouldn't have come to this anyway.
What are you talking about?
You're making a huge mistake, Tiffany. This is gonna make you famous. You'll make millions of dollars. It's gonna change your entire life.
I already told you that I don't want to do it. Why can't you just respect that?
Because you didn't even give me a
It
reason.
doesn't matter! You're my manager, not my shrink.
But I know what's best for you.
I don't want any of this romantic bullshit right now. You know what? Okay, I don't want to talk about this right now. You're drunk. Let's just go home and we'll talk about it in the morning.
There's no point. It's done. The contract's signed.
You forged my signature?
It had to be done.
You asshole! You know what? I'm calling the cops.
I'm not jeopardizing my entire career just because you're afraid of doing a stupid movie.
That's not why. It's because I'm...
No. No, Tiffany, no. What did I do? No, Tiffany, no.
What have you done?
Derek, what are you doing here? What? You killed her. Listen, you don't know what happened. You don't understand. It's not what it looks like.
I heard the whole thing.
Well, who's gonna believe you? You're a stalking security guard that she fired a day ago anyway.
But you killed her.
You're the one with the gun, buddy. You're gonna regret it. Don't do this.
You're right. I'll let the cops have you.
So sorry I couldn't save you, Tiffany.
Alright, well, thank you for your honesty. We're going to take you to a holding center now, where you will be taken into custody by an officer.
I'm glad that's over with. It's always awful when they're so young.
Yeah, well, I guess that's part of the job.
Yeah, but it's still awful. Hello? Oh my gosh. Okay, we're on our way. Here we go again.
Another case?
Yep.
Okay, I'll drive.
Second.
You don't understand. It'll always be my job to look after T.
To look after my homeboy, T. The boy.
No.
Okay, go. Oh, I got that on.
No.
You mean it was your job, and then it was your job.
And I look for more questions.
So you have to answer is I'm her bodyguard. Is my job. Right?
Yeah.
Are you
Hey, what? You almost got it.
Well, what am I saying now? The cut and bruising on his cheekbone is due to fucking that.
Well, initially,
Sorry.
Well, obviously her cause of death was
I moved it and I was like,
okay, well, obviously, let me just do this for a second.
and were you able to rule out sexual assault? And were you able to rule out sexual? I can't do it. Okay, I'll say it. I can do it. Okay. God, what?
Okay, guys, it's essentially a free throw.
Just keep going. It's okay.
Right, so it's new pregnancy, a woman's hormones active. No.
No.
That's because the body has this piece.
Just keep going.
Okay, the process.
Kill a woman with an unborn child.
Condition for its departure about the movie.
On how much sense?
Okay, wait.
Sorry, it dripped down my face.
You're gonna start?
Okay, it's rolling. Well, this bullet is the one found at the
Dude, we're filming.
Whatever.
No, you're too fast.
That was all it is.
Give.
Guys, I was so ready for that one. Okay, just
Okay.
I'm just gonna look at I'm just gonna look down.
and what about the blood on the stair?
Scream. My little hand going up.
What are you doing?